Welcome to the Pizza Marketplace podcast. I'm Mandy Detwiler, editor of Pizza Marketplace, and I'm here today with Dallas Massey, Senior Vice President of Marketing for Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Dallas, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mandy. I appreciate it.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about Papa Murphy's and how you got into the industry?
Yeah, Papa Murphy's is I would say the OG, right? Like we love that term. We're the OG in take and bake pizza. And we have kind of pioneered this high quality pizza at the time that you're ready to have a high quality pizza fresh out of your oven. And Papa Murphy's has built that, as a brand. And we've been doing it now for over 30 years. And we are stoked about, not only the history of Papa Murphy's, but the future of Papa Murphy's. We know that there's a large audience that is out there right now that needs the convenience of hot, fresh pizza right out of your oven when you're ready for it. So super stoked about the future of Papa Murphy's.
And how did you get involved?
Yeah, Papa Murphy's came to us through our relationship and, our ownership through MTY Group. So I've been employed with Barbecue Holdings for several years, and we have multiple brands that are outside the pizza industry, and PMI was presented to us by the MTY Group. And when we started to learn more about the opportunity, we all as a leadership team got really, really excited about not only the historic nature and the legacy that Papa Murphy's has. We're excited about the future of the brand. And so I was given the opportunity to really lead the charge from a marketing standpoint. So we started to dig into what we've done and what we believe that we need to do. And ultimately, we know that Papa Murphy's is a brand that people trust and that people can lean on for years to come for hot and fresh pizza straight out of the oven.
What do you think is the appeal of take and bake pizza in today's modern pizzeria kind of lifestyle?
It's really convenient, and I think people will laugh when they hear that. But it is what I've tried to coin the term, like inconveniently convenient. Because if you know that you're having people over, or you're hosting a game day, or you're coming home from your kid's soccer practice, there is nothing more convenient than putting a Papa Murphy's pizza in the oven when you get home. So if you plan ahead a little bit and you actually prepare to experience Papa Murphy's pizza fresh and hot out of your oven, there's nothing better and nothing more convenient.
Well, let's talk about the $10 Tuesday promotion. What was the original impact of the $10 Tuesday promotion on your store's profitability and traffic when it was first introduced?
Yeah, I would say Papa Murphy's was built on $10 Tuesdays. I've been around the brand now a little over a year and a half, and I don't talk to anybody that doesn't bring up the Tuesday promotion, right? So I would say that there's a lot of brand equity that is built into $10 Tuesday, and ultimately it's something that our franchise partners know and love. And we've gotten distracted a little bit over the years with price points and labor wages and, everything that comes along with running a business, is kind of, I guess, enticed us to move on from $10 Tuesday. And we've gone from $10.99 to now $11 or, up to $14 in some markets. And it doesn't have the same impact that it did when it was a brand-wide promotion at $10 on Tuesday for any pizza at Papa Murphy's.
How did rising ingredient and labor costs affect the profitability of the original $10 Tuesday deal for your franchise? Yeah,
it certainly affected profitability. And I think that's the balancing act, Mandy, that we're trying to play. In California, pricing has gone to $13.99 on Tuesday, versus $10. And at the end of the day, we know that volume is what we need as a brand. Like, we have to sell more pizzas and volume wins, right? And we're going to make less money and we're going to sell more pizzas ideally and introduce people to Papa Murphy's or provide literally the best value in the pizza business on Tuesdays. I think a great example is a what we call a stuffed pizza. And it's a pizza that's over 4 pounds. And when you can buy a 4-pound pizza for $10, that can feed a lot of people. And it's literally what we like to say is the best value in pizza.
At what point did you realize that the original $10 Tuesday was no longer sustainable for your franchisees' bottom line?
Yeah, a lot of it started through COVID. I mean, it's 2025. I hate that we're still even talking about COVID, but at the end of the day, that's where a lot of this started. There was a lot of unknowns that happened for restaurateurs and entrepreneurs, during COVID. And food costs were one of those things. Labor challenges were presented across all industries, specifically restaurants, and hiring the right talent and getting the right people in the building was a challenge. And at the end of the day, it was cost, and everybody was looking at their P&Ls and they're understanding that costs are not necessarily meeting expectations for profitability. And we had to make a change, and we do not mandate pricing from a franchisor standpoint. And we allowed some changes, and it's been very obvious over the years, the franchise partners that have maintained their $10 Tuesdays at a level of $10.99 or less have fared better than franchise partners that have raised prices to, $11.99, $12.99, $13.99, etc.
What operational challenges did the original $10 Tuesday present, especially when Tuesday sales began to rival or surpass Friday sales?
Yeah, it's all volume based and really just staffing, appropriately. And it's as a manager in a restaurant, it is weird mentally to go in and schedule your staffing heavier on a Tuesday than you would on Thursday or potentially like a Sunday. And it was really getting over that mental roadblock that we need the people on Tuesday to take care of the guests that are coming in the door. And it was really understanding the volume that was coming in the door.
Okay. When did you first start to adjust the promotion, and what specific changes did you make?
We're 5 weeks into a test right now.
Okay.
For, $10 Tuesday. Since about 2020, the promotion has evolved. Like I talked about, promotion pricing went from $10 to $10.99 to $12.99 up to $13.99 in some markets. And that promotional pricing, obviously has affected traffic. It's affected consumer value perception. We realize all that. We look at all the data and we understand that it's having what we think is a negative impact on the business overall. Because at the end of the day, we want the guests to know what they're getting for the price point that they're coming in for. And if they know they can get any pizza in the building for $10, we know exactly what we're selling.
How did you communicate the changes to the promotion to your customers, and what was their initial reactions?
Yeah, so far, like I said, we're 5 weeks into the promotion. So I think it's too early to tell, to be completely honest. I will say that the results we are monitoring on a weekly basis, and they are exceeding projections. They're exceeding expectations. The 5-week test in the 150 plus stores that the promotion is running has been off the charts, frankly. And I think it's because there is a lot of brand equity that's built up, in this promotion. People know Papa Murphy's for $10 Tuesdays. And when we brought that back through to answer your first question, all of the media channels with TV and radio and social, and influencers and things of that nature, $10 Tuesday just resonates with the Papa Murphy's consumer.
What kind of feedback did you get from franchisees to corporate regarding the $10 Tuesday promotion? What did the franchisees think about it?
I would say first and foremost, excitement. They know that that's what the brand was built on. Tuesdays were literally the number one day of the week for Papa Murphy's for a long period of time. So they know that that's the legacy of the brand. That's what the brand was built on. And then there was some concern. It's like, all right, if I'm at $13 right now on Tuesday and you're asking me to test $10, what does that mean for my overall profitability? And we ran a lot of, I guess, profitability studies, for lack of a better term, to say, all right, we know we need X number of transactions to make up the profitability, and we're exceeding those transaction numbers in the first 5 weeks.
Great. Do you feel you had enough control to adapt the promotion to your specific regional economic realities?
I do. Yeah. I mean, we have ultimate control, over the promotion. So if we don't, through this test, if we don't believe that the promotion is not going to, if it's not going to work, we're not going to run it for the entire system. So I feel like we have a very solid test group that covers our entire guest, I guess, database that tells us whether or not this is going to work. And we're going to trust the data, and we're going to rely on the data on whether or not this expands from a test to an overall promotion, for this system.
Sure. How did the process of adapting the promotion differ from your expectations of a national marketing campaign?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was in collaboration with the FAB, and really trying to understand what the FAB's needs were. And in collaboration with them and looking at data, this promotion is all driven on transactions. We know that we need transactions to be successful. We know that when guests come in the building, they may not come in and buy just the promotional pizza. They're going to come in and buy what they love from Papa Murphy's. And that's a cookie dough, and that's the garlic knots, and that's all of the other things, that make the brand what it is. So we knew if we can spike transactions and we can stabilize transactions, that everything else will take care of itself.
All right. How do you believe the changes to the $10 Tuesday promotion have affected your customers' perception of Papa Murphy's value?
Yeah, I think that they know that it's always on, first and foremost, on Tuesday. They know when they can come in to get the pizza that they want at the value and the price that they're willing to pay. I think that the other, component to that is that we know some of our guests try pizzas that they may not be willing to pay full retail price for, and I think a great example of that is the stuffed pizzas, right? When you get into a stuffed all meat pizza, literally it's 4+ pounds of food, and it's a massive pizza. And retail price, it's $25+. And people may not be willing to shell out the $25 to try that pizza, but at $10, it eliminates that risk and they're willing to try it. And we know that may become that guest's favorite pizza, and they're going to order that now, monthly, or that's going to become the treat for their family, on movie night or whatever the case may be, where they tried something new that is a little bit more retail price on the menu. They tried it at $10, they love it, and now they're going to order it from now until, perpetuity.
That's a hefty pizza, 4 pounds.
It really is. Yep.
Have you observed any changes in customer behavior, such as a shift in order frequency or size since the promotion was changed?
No, not really. I mean, we're monitoring all of that very, very closely. And check average is still very close to what it was prior to the promotion. I would say that the one thing that we have observed that's changed a little bit is the what we call AOS, add-on sales. And they're down, about 10% of what they are, on a normal day. But we expect that. People are coming in for a deal. AOS is not on sale, and they're not spending the additional dollars that they might when those items are available and they're spending full retail.
Right. How do you manage customer expectations and maintain brand loyalty when a long-running popular deal is altered?
Yeah, I think it's tough, right? And as we've gotten into what I would call the value wars, guests have gotten more and more sensitive about price point. And it's not always about the pizza or the quality of the ingredients that you provide that wins out. So what we have tried to do is remain very, very loyal to who we are as a company and provide the best ingredients and the most toppings and the best pizza experience that we can with hot and fresh pizza out of your oven and still compete on price. So we have sacrificed margin in order to run promotions like $10 Tuesday. We have introduced things like BOGO, quarterly, where our guests can really buy one, get one free, and it's any pizza on the menu. And we have done it in a way to maintain the integrity of all of our ingredients and all of our recipes in order to provide the pizza experience that guests expect from us, instead of like reducing toppings or cutting quality on ingredients. We've refused to go down that path. So we have literally sacrificed margin in order to provide a high quality pizza experience that our guests have been known and love Papa Murphy's for, in order to continue to meet that standard, knowing that the value wars will end at some point. We can't compete on price forever. And at the end of the day, quality and value is going to win out. And we think that our quality pizza is better than anybody else in the game. And we're willing to bet on that by sacrificing margin, in the short term.
Okay. Have you noticed any signs of deal fatigue among your customers where they're less responsive to promotions in general?
Not really. I think it does vary, like by the audience group, and I think that every promotion that goes out appeals to a specific audience group, and a specific segment of the audience of the brand as a whole. And, even I mentioned BOGO just a few minutes ago. Maybe not everyone needs two pizzas. You know what I mean? So we need to adjust our deals to be better and accommodate that individual or that couple that needs one pizza instead of two pizzas. And how can we create value on that one pizza? So those are some of the things that we're looking at right now and adjusting our promotions likewise.
In your opinion, what's the most important lesson learned from the evolution of the $10 Tuesday promotion that could be applied to other franchise-based businesses? What should other businesses or franchises think about when they want to do a similar promotion?
Yeah, I think it's a loaded question. And I think the one thing that comes up to me is that our guests and our customers are much more price sensitive than I would have ever imagined. 99-cent increase on a $10 pizza is significant. And, we as marketers and we as operators and business owners need to understand the impact that has on families, and on our consumers and our customer base. So I think people are a lot more price sensitive than we would have ever expected. And I think that people get locked in and they love a deal. and they love to know that this is what I've always done, every Tuesday or every third Tuesday or whatever the cadence may be. This is what I've done, on Tuesdays for my family. And if we can meet them in that space, I think we're going to be successful. And I think all brands, are in that similar situation where our consumers are much more price conscious than we think.
Absolutely. Well, we are out of time. Thanks so much for being with us today, Dallas. This has been excellent.
Yeah, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate the time and appreciate the opportunity for sure.
That'll do it for this episode of the Pizza Marketplace podcast, and we'll catch you next time.